Dissing Jeff Nippard when you know he comes to the same gym is the most alpha ever. Well, the most alpha would be saying Jeff Nippard in the video. Notice he didn't mention his name. Why is that? Everyone knows who he's talking about, and so he doesn't have the balls to say Jeff Nippard. Coach Greg, in today's video, we got you some drama. This time, it doesn't involve me. For the first time, it's someone else. And it is involving Jeff Nippard and Mike Van Wick. And in case you haven't heard of Big Mike Van Wick, he's an IFBB pro bodybuilder from Ontario. And I do believe he trains at the same gym as Jeff Nippard himself. And so he has 280,000 followers. He's a well-known trainer and coach. But he doesn't like Jeff Nippard. The title of the video is Sam versus Nerds. And so what he's referring to is Sam Sulek and Jeff Nippard. Now, one thing I don't understand is why people don't just call the people out. He speaks about this in enough detail that only a moron would not realize that he's speaking about Jeff Nippard. I mean, he's saying there's this guy, he's a nerd, he's small, he doesn't have as much muscle. And he did a video where he watched every one of Sam Sulek's training videos and analyzed it, and then at the end of it, decided, hey, anything works.
Yeah, I was watching YouTube the other day. Something that my usual feed popped up onto my feed for some unknown reason, because I really can't stand the person that popped up on it, but YouTube likes to torture me.
And so you're probably thinking, oh, he's talking about Coach Greg. Some guy annoying came up on my feed and it was annoying me, had to be Coach Greg. Nope, it's Jeff Nippard. And look at the smirk, the smile.
This particular video was a very nerdy individual going in depth about Sam Sulek's workout regimen, sets and rep schemes.
And so he calls him a very nerdy individual. And to me, that is an insult. Although Jeff should take it as a compliment. I mean, after all, he's saying he's nerdy. Oftentimes when you're a nerd, it means you're smart, you're intelligent, you're studying, perhaps you're doing well in school. And so if I were Jeff, I would take this as a compliment. Hey, what's wrong with being a nerd? It's 2024. I can identify as anything I want. If I want to be a nerd, cool, I just say it and I automatically am. Right?
Well, the most outlandish thing about the video is that this person stated that they had watched all of this person's training videos.
And so let's examine that statement alone. He watched every single one of his training videos.
So I decided to analyze every single workout he's done this year.
Does anyone believe that Jeff Nippard sat there and watched every single video that Sam Sulek could ever put out? I don't believe he watched even a couple. I personally just don't believe it. So we have no proof whether or not Jeff Nippard watched every single Sam Sulek video, 30, 40, 50-minute videos, 7 days a week for months on end. I have no proof that he watched it or not, but he's saying, hey, that's a little sus to begin with.
A sidebar, Sam looks 1,000% better than this person does. And this person is not so much critiquing their physique, kind of just saying like, well, whatever he's doing is working for him. It's like, yeah, which is the exact opposite of what you do, dude.
When he says this guy looks way better than Jeff Nippard, the answer is yeah, but we're not comparing apples to apples. Sam Sulek has better genetics than Jeff Nippard and is not natural. And so just because Sam Sulek looks bigger, more jacked, is more muscle, perhaps is stronger than Jeff Nippard, doesn't mean he's training better. Do people not understand this? Jeff Nippard's about 5'4" tall. Sam Sulek close to 6 feet tall. Of course he's bigger. Sam, not natty, at least we assume he's not. Jeff Nippard, 100% natural. And so just because a guy looks bigger than someone else doesn't mean they know any better. It'd be like saying Coach Greg doesn't know as much as another IFBB pro bodybuilder because I'm 5'6" and on HRT and only weigh 185 pounds, and they're perhaps 6 feet tall and weigh 250 pounds. Just because I'm smaller, perhaps can't lift as much as them, doesn't mean I know less about training. And so to me, that argument, it doesn't make sense to just say, yeah, well, he looks bigger than you and so his training is better. It's silly. It doesn't make sense.
Critiquing or you're breaking down for some unknown reason, but you're basically disproving your stance on working out by showing that this guy does this, which is considered not science or whatever.
This part, he makes a great point. Mike Van Wick is saying, you're literally disproving yourself. You're saying science this, science that, science, science, science. And then according to the science, he's not training correctly. But look at him. And so if he's not training according to the science and you're a Mr. Science, then why should we listen to science? If everything works, just go to the gym and train hard, then why don't people just do that? And you know who's been preaching that for years? What have I been stating for years? Does anyone know the slogan? Better yet, does anyone not know the slogan? Train harder than last time. Oh, but Coach Greg makes no sense. Train harder than last time. Oh, can't possibly do that. The research says it doesn't work. You need to keep 3 reps in reserve. You need to deload. You need to do this. You need to do that. You can't possibly just train harder than last time. Training harder than last time means progressive overload. If you progressive overload, aka train harder than last time, you're going to make gains, period. You don't need to train with all the science mumbo jumbo, but what you need to do is train hard. And guess what? All that science, the research, the researchers, the data that's being provided, it's on experienced lifters. And you know what an experienced lifter is? Perhaps a university student who plays soccer. They go to the gym 3 days a week. They don't know what they're doing. Experienced lifters are not IFBB pros. They're not Coach Greg. They're not Sam Sulek, and they certainly aren't Mike Van Wick. And so when you want to know what you really need to do to gain muscle, to be at your best, to peak, it's not always what the research says. They don't have the research, at least none that I'm aware, on advanced elite level IFBB pros. Guys who've been in the gym for 10 plus years, or perhaps guys who are taking and abusing performance enhancing drugs. So just because the research says perform reps at 3-hour hour and pause this and deload that and blah, 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 doesn't mean that's what we all should be doing. Case in point, Jeff Nippard himself says, hey, Sam Sulek is training really hard. He's doing this. He's taking 96 to 98% of his sets to failure, and it's working for him. And so what does that tell you? It tells you that anything will work. Some of the reps to failures, none to failure, train too hard, don't train as hard, train like Jeff Nippard, train like Sam Sulek, train like Coach Ray. It all can work. Show up to the gym and work hard, and you are going to make some gains.
You're basically showing in a comparison, like, he's standing here with his shirt off, posing, looking like a pretty big monster for a 21-year-old kid. You're a fucking grown adult who is tiny and has no physique to speak of, and hangs his hat on how strong he is for his size.
Okay, I'm not a fan of Jeff Nippard. He doesn't like me whatsoever. But when you say this guy has no physique, he's shirt off, he doesn't look good, are you kidding me? Jeff Nippard has an amazing physique. He has elite level genetics. He was a champion powerlifter and bodybuilder. Just because he's not on steroids and he doesn't train harder than last time, at least not that I'm aware of, doesn't mean he doesn't have an impressive physique. And yeah, he's short, but just because you're short doesn't mean you don't have an amazing physique.
What point were you trying to make there? That everyone, like, everything can work at all times, but yet you preach science. This is the least scientific guy we know, apparently.
And so this is what Mike Van Wick gets right. Basically, he's saying this: Jeff, you argued against yourself. If you want everyone to believe that science training is so important, but then you show a video of a guy that's not training based on what you're saying, but he has amazing results, then doesn't that say you don't need to train based on science? I mean, you're arguing against yourself.
And least form functional, apparently, and all this stuff. You're pointing all this out in the video, basically just debunking your own style.
And I mean, he is exaggerating a little bit. I do believe Jeff gave him a B rating on form. Jeff was being excessively nice in his rating system for Sam Sulek. I do believe that's because Sam is so popular. Imagine if Jeff had given him a D. I give him a fail on training because his form is not as ideal as it should be. He's ego lifting in the gym. If Jeff had shit on him throughout the video, people would have clapped back. Oh, you're Jeff Nippard. What do you know? We like Sam Sulek. And so remember, when people really like someone, it's very hard to be 100% honest. Coach Greg, I'm 100% honest. Tell you exactly what I think. When I critique Sam Sulek, I don't hold back. You've heard me criticize the chocolate milk, the junk food, the cereal, the bulking, the cutting, all of it, and you don't like it at all. I don't want anyone to watch this video and think that you can eat anything remotely close to this and actually be healthy. And I hear all the negative comments. Coach Greg living rent-free in Sam's head, all of it. And I own up to it. I don't care. But what I do is I'm honest and I tell you what I think. I don't believe that Jeff Nippard would dare to be hypercritical of Sam Sulek. Here comes Jeff is natural though comments. Well, isn't that valid? If one guy we know is natural, that being Jeff Nippard, and the other we assume is not natural, that being Sam Sulek, is it fair to compare an enhanced athlete versus one who's natural and say, well, look at their training, it's so much better because they have a better physique? I don't think so. And remember, I'm unbiased here. I'm not the biggest fan of Jeff, but I will defend him when I need to, and I will be critical of him when I think he did something wrong. This is unnecessary. Like comparing apples and oranges, you know Jeff is natural. They wouldn't compete on the same stage. There you have it. Dissing Jeff Nippard when you know he comes to the same gym is the most alpha shit ever. Well, the most alpha shit would be saying Jeff Nippard in the video. Notice he didn't mention his name. Why is that? Everyone knows who he's talking about, and so he doesn't have the balls to say Jeff Nippard. I certainly hope if Mike Van Wick makes a video about Coach Greg saying, I disagree with something he says, Coach Greg says this, or Greg Doucette said that. Not, oh, there's this guy, he sounds like the parrot from Aladdin, and he's a 5'6" manlet, and he said this and said that. That's what people do. They don't dare say the person's name. If you have beef with someone, at least call them out. Speak their name. Say my name. I like Sam because he unites us all under a single message. Who cares? Just try and get bigger. Now, as much as I like that statement, that symbol, who cares? Just get bigger, I do hope that people realize they should do this in a natural environment. If you're a teenager, 19, 20, 21 years of age, I certainly hope you don't think it means to get bigger at all costs, meaning use performance-enhancing drugs. I certainly hope that Sam Sulek does not want younger fans to copy him. I do not think he believes that teenagers should use performance-enhancing drugs. And although his main message is to get big, I certainly hope he does not mean to get big at all costs. Funny because Sam has mentioned that he followed Nippard stuff when he was starting out. That is the irony of this, is that I literally remember Sam saying he did in fact watch Jeff Nippard's videos when he started out his training. And so Sam perhaps did in fact learn from Jeff Nippard. You know, that small, short guy with no physique to speak of that we're hearing in this video. Certainly think that Sam had respect for Jeff Nippard. Even though he didn't have a freakishly roided out physique with more muscle than last time, he still had respect for his information. It's Jeff Nippard, isn't it? Well, don't we have a rocket scientist who's figured this one out? Like you and your content, but this is off base. Jeff's not on PDs makes a huge difference. Also, genetic factors at play. Just because someone is smaller, it doesn't disqualify what they have to say. Obviously, Jeff may go a bit too heavy-handed with the science shit, but science is our best bet at the end of the day. The person you are talking about is a fucking tool. I mean, do we really need to go that hard on him? People are tagging Jeff Nippard, wondering, is he going to react to this? Of course he's not going to react to this. Jeff Nippard does not want controversy. He does not want to caught up in drama. He wants to keep everything positive. If you speak anything negative about Jeff or anyone that he's ever met, he hates you. He absolutely thinks it's not fair for anyone to talk about anything negative about him or anyone related to his family. Even though this is what happens on YouTube, people call each other out. He hates it, and I believe there's 0% chance he's going to react to this video. Mike pretending he doesn't sub to Jeff, and so perhaps that's why he keeps getting presented his videos. Hey Mike, if you are in fact sub to him, or if you had the bell button, if you unsub, don't click the bell button, you won't get notified of all those videos. And so if you want to subscribe to Coach Greg, please click the subscribe button. That way you get notified. The videos will show up in your algorithm. You'll be able to watch more of my videos, and of course that's what we all want. Now, isn't it? And if you are trying to stay natural like Jeff Nippard, but perhaps to get past a plateau or a sticking point of which Jeff has been at for 10 years, you can, of course, consider taking Turk Builder or Ecti Builder. I know Jeff doesn't believe in it, but if he did use it, he'd be astonished. He would be amazed. He'd have to withdraw everything he said about me and my supplements, and he just wouldn't be able to live with that. Imagine Jeff Nippard having to make a video saying, I was wrong about Coach Greg. He couldn't do it. And so Jeff Nippard will absolutely not dare try Turk Builder, because if he did and he discovered just how good it really is, imagine how hurt he would be to have to make that video and say, I was wrong, I tried Turk Builder and it's amazing. Jeff will absolutely never ever try Turk Builder, but what about you? I've posted several videos talking about the research in depth, explaining just how good it is in the real world. If you're interested, please go watch those videos. Head over to my website, Code Greg, 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Make a comment right now, bell button it, subscribe, watch one of those 2 videos. Don't forget Turk Builder, Ecti Builder. You will be amazed how good it really is. Way better than creatine. That's right, I said it. I'll say it again. It's way better than creatine. Wait till you try it. And until next time, I am out.